Welcome to the eye-opening, jaw-dropping, and spine-tingling expose of China's global strategy. In this riveting video, we'll be peeling back the layers of China's cunning tactics in various sectors, how the Chinese are infiltrating the land of the free, territory expansion, foreign partnerships, and technology dominance. On this journey, we will explore the depths of China's global ambitions and uncover the truth behind the red curtain. Prepare to be amazed, shocked, and maybe even a little bit scared. In recent months, a staggering number of Chinese nationals, most of them military-aged men, have been caught illegally crossing the U.S. borders.
Chinese migrants trying to cross the southern border illegally.
One might expect individuals fleeing their country in pursuit of freedom to exhibit exemplary behavior. However, reports indicate that these Chinese men, uniquely among migrants, have been identified as displaying hostile behavior upon crossing the border. In 2023 alone, over 33,000 individuals from China have been apprehended, raising serious concerns about the potential motives behind this influx. These Chinese military-aged men are predominantly appearing in California, with a notable concentration in the southern part of the state. This alarming trend has sparked debates on whether the Chinese government is planning a war from both the outside and the inside, using these men to infiltrate and potentially hijack U.S. military bases. Experts and analysts are closely monitoring the situation, as the sudden increase in Chinese border crossings may signal a larger strategy by the Chinese government to destabilize the United States. The potential threat to national security has prompted calls for increased vigilance and a thorough investigation into the motives and intentions of these individuals. It has been revealed that Chinese companies have been purchasing land in various states, including Texas and North Dakota, without disclosing these transactions to the U.S. government. This has raised concerns about potential infiltration and national security risks, as some of these land purchases are near critical military installations. In one alarming case, a Chinese company bought land in Utah near the Whiteman Air Force Base, which is home to the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber and other vital military operations such as missile and drone activities, as well as the Global Strike Command. This base also houses 3 intercontinental ballistic missile wings and Fort Liberty, among other important military assets. These purchases have sparked questions about why the U.S. would allow its biggest global threat to own land near such sensitive military facilities. Although Chinese-owned land accounts for only 1% of the farmland owned by foreign entities in the United States, the proximity of these purchases to military bases is a cause for concern. The U.S. government is now reviewing the rules and regulations surrounding foreign land purchases, especially those near military installations. As a result, there is a growing debate on how to balance the need for foreign investment with the necessity of protecting national security interests. While it is important to consider the economic benefits of foreign investments, it is also crucial to ensure that these investments do not compromise the safety and security of the United States. The CCP is the sole ruling party in China and is known for its suppression of dissent and restrictions on the rights and freedoms of Chinese citizens. The party has been accused of various human rights abuses, including forced population control, arbitrary detention, censorship, forced labor, and violations of religious freedom. Moreover, the CCP maintains strict control over media and internet content within China. The recent land purchases by Chinese companies near U.S. military installations have raised questions about the CCP's intentions and potential risks to national security.
What's happening with the Chinese government or Chinese nationals buying farmland? I've got a map, if I can find it, of where they're buying this land, and it's around U.S. military installations. They're buying up land around U.S. military installations. So when you look at the amount of land that they're buying, it's not all that much. It's a lot of land, but given as much land as there is, it's like maybe less than 1%. But when you look at it strategically around military installation, it's really concerning. And then when you look at what's happening at those military installations that they have land around, like B-2 stealth bomber training, drone training, and all, it's very, very troubling.
Some of these companies are believed to be acting on behalf of the Chinese government, using smaller companies as fronts to conceal their true identity. In China, it is illegal for companies to operate without government involvement, as the country is a communist state. This raises concerns about the possibility of the CCP using these land purchases to gather intelligence or disrupt U.S. military operations. While China currently controls a relatively small amount of land in the U.S., around 400,000 acres, only 1,400 acres sold to Chinese investors have been reported to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA. The security threat in Montana, where a Chinese spy balloon was spotted and eventually shot down over the Atlantic Ocean, has further fueled the debate over foreign land ownership in the U.S. Almost a year later, there has been a discovery of a new high-altitude spy balloon hovering in the U.S. airspace in mid-February 2024, which is currently being investigated. Senator Tester is now pushing for Tester's amendment, which would grant the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, CFIUS, the authority to review all significant agriculture-related foreign investments using expert data from the USDA. This amendment would also empower the CFIUS to prohibit future purchases of farmland by U.S. adversaries. The proposed legislation has garnered support from both sides of the political aisle, as lawmakers seek to protect U.S. national security interests and ensure that foreign entities do not gain undue influence over the country's agricultural resources. It remains to be seen whether the amendment will be passed and how it will impact future foreign investment in U.S. farmland. An important question to ask yourself to better assess this information is, why are Chinese companies purchasing land near U.S. military bases when there are many other land options available in rural areas? Is there a possibility that China could use these lands to poison the crops, water, or air in the United States? Now let's pivot our focus to an intriguing topic: the involvement of China in implementing agricultural practices right here in the United States. It has been revealed that over 40% of China's arable land is degraded due to unsustainable agriculture practices. Soil degradation in China has led to significant and measurable impacts, such as the loss of soil nutrients, salinization, acidification, and desertification. These practices have been driven by the desire to maximize agricultural output and profits. As a result, there are growing concerns about the risks associated with China's farming practices in the United States. The potential for soil degradation and other environmental issues could have significant consequences for U.S. agriculture, which relies heavily on the health and productivity of its arable land. In a recent report by the U.S.-China Economic and Security Review Commission, uscc.gov, it has been revealed that Chinese investments in the U.S. agricultural sector pose significant risks to U.S. economic and national security. The report highlights several potential consequences of Chinese acquisitions of U.S. agricultural assets, including hog herds and genetically modified seeds. These investments may save China money and enhance its domestic capacity, but at the same time, they could reduce China's need for U.S.-sourced production, leading to a decline in demand for U.S. agricultural products. Moreover, the report suggests that further consolidation in Chinese investments in U.S. agricultural assets could give China undue leverage over U.S. supply chains. This could result in a loss of competitiveness for U.S. agriculture technology, which is critical to maintaining food production. Additionally, China's illicit acquisition of genetically modified seeds provides a jumpstart to their own development of such seeds, while also depriving U.S. companies of revenue and potentially revealing vulnerabilities in U.S. crops. China has a significant presence in the U.S. agricultural sector, particularly through their ownership of grain elevators. These facilities are vital for storing and processing a variety of dry grains such as wheat, corn, oats, and soybeans. Since 2000, Chinese companies have been actively involved in American buy-ups with over $7 billion in deals and ownership of nearly $900 million of U.S. agricultural land, around 42,000 acres. This includes the WH Group, which owns 1 in 4 hogs raised in the U.S. These acquisitions not only strengthen China's position in the American food system, but also serve to further the Chinese government's power in the industry. It is worth noting that while China continues to expand its influence in the U.S. agricultural sector, the reverse is not possible, as U.S. entities are not allowed to buy farmland or businesses in China. The growing presence of Chinese-owned grain elevators raises concerns about the U.S. agricultural sector's independence and the potential consequences for domestic food security. While we often hear about territorial disputes in various regions, China's strategic maneuvers have been particularly significant, extending far beyond its immediate vicinity. The historical ties between China, Latin America, and the Caribbean, LAC, are reshaping regional dynamics. Dating back to 1834, when Chinese indentured laborers arrived in Jamaica, a pivotal moment laid the groundwork for a lasting influence. Despite their departure from sugar estates, Chinese settlers established thriving grocery businesses across the Caribbean, igniting a path towards colonization in Latin America. Fast forward to 2005, the signing of the first trade partnership between China and Chile marked a significant milestone. Since then, China has intensified efforts to expand its economic and commercial reach across LAC countries. Notable investments include over $1 billion in highway projects in Jamaica, facilitating the safe transport of imported goods from the port in Kingston, operated by China Merchant Port Holding. Moreover, China's engagement extends to education, with the establishment of Jamaica China schools teaching Mandarin to local students. Chinese ventures in the Caribbean span Hutchison Port Holdings' ownership of the Freeport Container Port in the Bahamas to infrastructure projects in Guyana, such as the construction of a strategic bridge over the Demerara River and extensive roadwork projects. China's influence also extends to diplomatic pressure, exemplified by Guyana's termination of a commercial agreement with Taiwan in 2021 under Chinese coercion, showing Guyana who's really in charge. Since 2003, Chinese foreign direct investment, FDI, flows into Africa have experienced a notable uptrend, marking a significant shift in global economic dynamics. Impressively, Chinese investment streams into Africa have surpassed those from the United States since around 2013, with U.S. investment experiencing sporadic declines and even dipped into the negatives since 2016. In 2021, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Zambia, Guinea, South Africa, and Kenya emerged as the top 5 African destinations for Chinese FDI, showcasing China's expanding economic reach across the continent. Meanwhile, American investments predominantly flowed into South Africa, Egypt, Nigeria, Ethiopia, and the Republic of the Congo. China's deepening economic ties with sub-Saharan African countries have solidified its position as the region's largest single-country trading partner. Accounting for a significant portion of the region's exports, China primarily purchases metals, minerals, and fuel, while also supplying the majority of manufactured goods and machinery imported by African nations. With an investment exceeding $72 billion between 2014 and 2018 alone, China has emerged as Africa's premier investor, now owning approximately 7% of the continent's total land area. These developments highlight the growing importance of China's presence in Africa and the potential implications for the continent's political and economic landscape. Could these loans from China potentially lead to debt traps, with China already extracting resources from all of these lands, solidifying its status as the wealthiest country in terms of resources and maintaining strong relationships? There's a looming question of whether they may assert their authority when the time presents itself. As we transition, it's imperative to address a pressing concern: China's current and potential partnerships. China and Russia, the U.S. two biggest threats, have continued to strengthen their relationship through a series of diplomatic and cooperative efforts. The two countries share a land border, which was officially demarcated in 1991, laying the groundwork for a more cooperative relationship between the two nations. In 2001, the two countries signed the Treaty of Good Neighborliness and Friendly Cooperation, which was renewed in June 2021 for an additional 5 years. This treaty has been an important foundation for the deepening of China-Russia relations, as it promotes cooperation in various fields such as trade, energy, and security. China and Russia have also enjoyed close military, economic, and political ties, with both countries supporting each other on various global issues. For example, both countries have been vocal in their opposition to the expansion of NATO and have worked together to promote a multipolar world order. Economically, the two countries have been collaborating on various projects, including the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, and the Eurasian Economic Union, EEU. These initiatives have created new opportunities for trade and investment between the two countries and have helped to further strengthen their relationship. Overall, the recent developments in China-Russia relations highlight the growing importance of cooperation between the two countries and the potential for further deepening of their relationship in the future. Next is Serbia. In a significant development for both countries, China and Serbia signed a free trade agreement on October 17, 2023. This marks the first such agreement between China and a nation from Central and Eastern Europe, and is expected to pave the way for further cooperation and economic growth between the two countries. The agreement will facilitate the reduction of trade barriers and promote the exchange of goods and services between China and Serbia. It is also expected to strengthen bilateral relations, increase investment opportunities, and enhance economic growth for both nations. This historic agreement comes as part of China's broader efforts to expand its economic and trade ties with countries in the region, and demonstrates the growing importance of Central and Eastern Europe in China's global economic strategy. China and Israel have found common ground in their economic priorities, leading to increased collaboration between the two countries. Israel's strengths in various high-tech sectors, such as health tech, agri-tech, green tech, and clean tech, offer significant opportunities for joint projects and partnerships. The growing relationship between China and Israel is based on mutual interests in these key industries, which can help both countries achieve their respective economic goals. By working together, China and Israel can leverage each other's expertise and resources to drive innovation, create new jobs, and foster economic growth. This collaboration has the potential to benefit not only China and Israel, but also the global economy, as advancements in these sectors can lead to breakthroughs in areas such as healthcare, agriculture, and environmental protection. As China and Israel continue to strengthen their economic ties, the potential for further cooperation and joint projects in these high-tech sectors is expected to grow, solidifying their relationship and contributing to the development of both countries. Where the quest for precious resources drives innovation and shapes global economies, China, recognized as the hub of rare earth production, has cemented its dominance in the global market, with its production accounting for a staggering 70% of the total global output in 2022. The significance of rare earths in modern industries, including technology, magnets, batteries, and displays, has propelled China's strategic focus on securing these valuable resources. Renowned scientist Xu Guangxian, credited as the pioneer of China's rare earth industry, foresaw the potential of these elements as early as the 1980s. His pivotal roles in various scientific institutions and advocacy for export quotas underscore China's proactive approach to controlling rare earth resources. In parallel, China's aggressive expansion into the lithium market, highlighted by the acquisition of half of the world's major lithium mines since 2018, signals its ambition to dominate the battery metal supply chain. However, geopolitical tensions, particularly with the United States and its allies, pose challenges to China's unchecked acquisition spree, pushing the nation to explore emerging markets for alternative sources. Despite recent regulatory interventions forcing Chinese divestment from Canadian mining ventures, Chinese state-owned enterprises maintain significant stakes in key Canadian mining companies. This strategic foothold underscores China's sustained influence in global mining operations. Furthermore, China's extensive investments in copper and gold mining, particularly in Africa and Europe, reveal a shift in strategy towards securing low-cost assets with favorable returns. This transition signifies a departure from mere control and capacity-driven acquisitions towards a focus on cost-effectiveness and profitability. The escalating dominance of Chinese companies in the global mining landscape raises concerns among international stakeholders, highlighting the urgent need for diversified supply chains and robust regulatory frameworks to ensure equitable access to vital mineral resources. As we segue into the realm of the technology industry, China has been aggressively selling technology products, including cell phone equipment, tower equipment, routers, and more, to U.S. companies at unbeatable prices, undercutting competitors. However, alarming concerns arise regarding the security risks associated with Chinese technology. Recent investigations into Chinese tech giant Huawei have revealed vulnerabilities, with evidence suggesting third-party access to their systems, raising fears of potential hacking, information sharing, and control. The situation intensifies with the deployment of Huawei's facial recognition technology in Guyana's Safe City surveillance system, sparking widespread apprehension over potential privacy violations. Adding to the urgency, the FBI chief has sounded the alarm, highlighting China's extensive hacking program, which surpasses that of the US and other competitors combined. Recent incidents reveal that Chinese state-linked hackers have gained unauthorized access to email accounts at approximately 25 organizations, including U.S. government agencies and major corporations like Microsoft. Shockingly, Chinese hackers outnumber U.S. cyber personnel by a staggering margin of at least 50-1. In the automotive division, major U.S. car manufacturers, including Ford, Stellantis, and General Motors, are considering working with Chinese companies to supply batteries for electric vehicles. The electric vehicle supply chain heavily relies on China, which is eager to establish export markets in the U.S. However, this collaboration may face challenges due to the rise in protectionism. In order to deliver cheaper electric vehicles, Western car companies have realized that mass EV adoption is closely linked to China. A potential solution to this issue is the creation of a westernized, China-based EV supply chain. Tesla's invitation to Chinese suppliers to their Gigafactory in Monterey is one example of this approach. Strict trade barriers on Chinese EV supplies could result in lower EV adoption in the West. Diversifying from China comes at a cost and may take decades, as EV and battery supply will face environmental and permitting impediments. This evidence suggests that auto companies are reaching out to work with China. Some examples of this collaboration include Ford's continued partnership with CATL for lithium batteries, Stellantis Ross McDonald's investment in China's Leapmotor, Volkswagen's stake in Xpeng Inc., and Tesla's plan to open a U.S. battery plant with equipment from CATL. Legacy auto companies are exploring ways to use their existing China-based assets and EV partnerships to reverse export EVs to Western markets in a more economic way. As they face changes in the EV supply-demand balance, we can expect continued collaboration between Western OEMs and Chinese EV manufacturers like BYD. While Mexico is not part of the U.S., Mexican policymakers are trying to align themselves with U.S. policy objectives by introducing a 25% tariff on Chinese imports. If the U.S. EV strategy pivots, Mexico could potentially become a bridge for Chinese collaboration. The production of EVs in Mexico, with the help of Chinese equipment and industrial know-how, may offer a viable, a bit uncomfortable path to low-cost EVs. However, this approach would need to overcome competing industrial and national security objectives. With the recent updates throughout this video, listeners may have a valuable question. Should China be allowed to make territorial claims within the U.S. because of our economic dependence on their business? Well, there you have it. China's global strategy is a complex and multifaceted beast that leaves us with more questions than answers. Will they rise to power or stumble on their own ambitions? Are they the friend or foe we never knew we had? Only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, it's been one heck of a ride exploring the ins and outs of this grand chess game. As we wrap up this eye-opening journey, remember to stay informed, keep an open mind, and always question the motives of those who seek to rule the world. After all, knowledge is power, and the truth is out there. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing content. So until next time, stay curious,